Mike Gundy got fired. The greatest coach in Oklahoma State history got fired. Something I said on the show when we were talking about head coaches on the hot seat, that after losing to Tulsa at home, I understood. And after some of the details have come to light, if you did not know, Mike Gundy had to take a pay cut. There's friction internally between leadership and himself for a long time. This is a coach very much like Dabo Swinney that is not really with the times of where college football is going. He's an old school head coach. He's a guy that if you ever got him in front of a microphone, it's going to be electric. Sparks are going to fly. He's one of the most entertaining personalities in all of college football. The problem being is the adaptability to the times. That's, in my opinion, out of most things that Nick Saban has done in his career, the one thing that I'm most impressed by is his ability to adapt, because the 2011 Bama team is so different than the 2021, and it's a testament of his ability to adapt. But even himself got to a breaking point, i.e. why he retired. To speak a little bit about Mike Gundy, because I think a lot of people saw how it ended and how ugly it was and how much friction became the breaking point, the boiling point between leadership and him. But let's not forget, he started in 2005 all the way to 2025. He was the second most tenured head coach in all of college football, a legend in the game. If you have never seen this, and if you've never heard of this quote, and you are a younger college football fan, I implore you to just Google into YouTube, "I'm a man, I'm 40, Mike Gundy." Because I don't want to, without Mike Gundy, I don't want to know what pops up. But I guarantee you that clip will pop up. That is the perfect entirety of what he was as a head coach. Going 170-90 over his tenure at Oklahoma State, 8 times getting 10 plus wins, 2011 Big 12 winner, only having a losing record twice. That is a legend right there. Now, do I think that Mike Gundy's ever going to coach again in the college ranks? I more than likely think he will. It depends on when. Is he going to be someone that waits a little bit, a couple years to kind of see the lay of the land, maybe adjusts his practices, kind of like what we saw with Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys, obviously not hoping for the same result, but I could see him taking a step back from the game and reassessing his process, because clearly it fell off a cliff after 2023. They had that incredible run getting to the Big 12 championship against Baylor. And from that point forward, it just continued to deteriorate. And it really felt like this season, after being that close to leaving the program, you almost begin to wonder what was the point of even bringing him on for this year if it was a leash of 4 weeks. It felt like a man that wasn't really in it. He would never tell you that. You could keep him off the record all you want. He would never admit that. But Mike Gundy, you could tell that saga, that chapter was already halfway closed. I said it when it was time to potentially move off of him just a week ago. I said, when you are replacing the greatest coach in your history, you need as much runway as possible to vet the candidates and know exactly who you're going for to give you the best chance. Because the notion of what we talked about with other coaches like Dabo, maybe even Penn State with Franklin, when we're saying, yeah, this is good, but it's not good enough and we have to move off of them. You, as a institution, you have to make sure that your next step, you are 110% confident that he's going to take you to the next level, or you're going to look like a dumb staff. You're going to look like you moved off the best thing since sliced bread. If you move off of someone because you want to elevate your program and you completely misstep. Now, I will say for Oklahoma State, a program that feels a little bit dead in the water, needed some juice. I feel for the players, especially because it does feel like an empty season. It wouldn't shock me if you see some red shirts. Obviously, we've already seen some decommitments of their current high school class. So when we talk about the future of Oklahoma State football, I really am at a loss for words of what the expectations are. I've heard a couple candidates. Zach Robinson, the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. Apparently, according to Josh Pate, that's the leader in the clubhouse. Colin Klein, selfishly, if you're not watching this on the video version of this podcast, I'm wearing a Texas A&M hat. Selfishly, I wouldn't want him to go because clearly in this second year, he's taken a jump. And what would be more shocking is if Kansas State was to move off of Chris Kleiman and they are not the ones that get Colin Klein. If you don't know who Colin Klein is, longtime Kansas State quarterback, rivaled Johnny Manziel in the Heisman race in terms of quarterbacks, right there with Manti Te'o. Incredible player. It was the Kansas State version of Tim Tebow. But it's a more wait and see. There's a lot of different candidates, and when it happens this early, it's one of those things where we're going to hear a lot of different names. Oklahoma State's going to do their due diligence, as they should. But I'm very interested on who they go with next. I thought potentially a Gruden would be a fun option, but I'm really aligning with potentially Arkansas getting him. But shout out to Mike Gundy, a legend of the game. I think people don't talk about his impact and what he was able to accomplish at Oklahoma State and how impressive it was.